The Rangers board may be backing Russell Martin for now, but other managers out there, they're like sharks smelling blood. They want that Rangers job. And now BetVictor has released a list of the odds for the next Rangers manager to replace Russell Martin. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Martin is still there for now. He doesn't appear to be going anywhere according to the board, but one bad result against Hibernian could change that, and we could be looking at a new Rangers manager. So we're going to go through the list here that BetVictor have produced. There is some familiar names on the list that we're not surprised to see linked with Rangers, but then there's also some not so familiar names that would be a little bit of a shock if they did end up in Glasgow managing Rangers. But the one thing that remains, doesn't matter who is going to be the next Rangers manager, I think the only thing we all know for certain is that Russell Martin, he is not the man to take the club forward. But let's look at the odds then that BetVictor have supplied. And they've got Sean Dyche as the favourite for the Rangers job. Sean Dyche at 3-1. Now, positives for Dyche, he's got a lot of Premiership experience. However, he's not really got experience in winning anything, and that was one of the criticisms that Martin had when he came to Rangers. People said, well, he's not got the winning mentality. What's he ever won? You could use that same sort of logic and you could apply it to Sean Dyche. Now, he did well keeping Burnley up for a while, and then he went to Everton, and I don't think he did too great there, but I think you could also argue that nobody has really done a good job at Everton over the past, 10 years? Especially since Davy Moyes left. So, yeah, Everton's been a bit of a failure club for the last decade at least. So, is it harsh to blame Sean Dyche for that? Maybe. But does he strike me as the next manager of Rangers? Honestly, not really. But he is the favourite at 3-1. So, BetVictor believe that he's got a good chance of getting it. Second favourite is Stevie G, Steven Gerrard. He's already been there. He's done it. He's wore the t-shirt. He's won Rangers a league title. People will argue that he only won one trophy out of 9, and I don't think that's good enough for a Rangers manager. However, you could spin it, and you could say that he won the most important trophy out of the 9, and also when he first came in, Rangers were behind Celtic, so I think it would be unfair to expect Gerrard in his first season to come in and win the league. By the time he got to his third season, he'd assembled a team that you could expect to challenge Celtic. But at the same time, to not win a cup, I think that is piss poor. As a Rangers manager, if you're going to be there for 3 full seasons, and you can argue that they're not the best team, but they were certainly the second best team, although some people will say, nah, it was Aberdeen. But I think we can all agree it was Rangers, and for him to not win a cup in that amount of time is poor. In fact, how many finals did Steven Gerrard make? Out of the 6 possible finals, how many did it? It can't be many. I don't think he actually maybe he made like 1 or 2, but that is poor. And that was during a period where Celtic were winning quadruple trebles. They were winning cups every single season. So, yeah, I mean, I think Gerrard should have done a better job. I think he should have won more. I'm not saying he should have won more than the one league, but I think that the minimum should have been for him to at least add a cup or two to his record. And he didn't do that. Who's to say he couldn't improve, though, if he came back? I think he certainly could improve. And yeah, that's probably the last time Rangers were. He'd done really well in Europe too, so give him credit there. But I think Steven Gerrard would be a good choice. You've then got Danny Rowe at 4-1. You've got Gary O'Neill at 9-2. Jose Mourinho at 6-1. There's been links with Jose Mourinho for a few years now. I just don't really see it happening. I can't see Mourinho coming to Rangers, but maybe with the 49ers in place, maybe that's the one thing that's changed that could maybe allow the door to open for the special one. But is Mourinho that special anymore? I think we need to sit down and have this conversation. Mourinho was great, and there's no doubt about it. In his prime, in the 2000s, when he won the Champions League with Porto, then he went to Chelsea, he was phenomenal. He went to Inter Milan, had great success there, then had decent success at Real Madrid against one of the best Barcelona teams we've ever seen. But since then, since the Chelsea days and then Inter and Real Madrid, ever since that, Mourinho has been a bit of a failure. Whether it was him coming back to Chelsea, or him going to United, or him going to Roma, or him at Spurs even. Now, he did get sacked before the cup final, so Daniel Levy did him dirty there for sure. But Mourinho, yeah, he's just not been that good, has he, and over the last decade? And I don't know if he can still call himself the special one. Could he do a job at Rangers? I mean, maybe, but he would cost a lot of money, and I just don't think that he's maybe worth it, to be fair. Michael Carrick is 8-1. You got Barry Ferguson, 8-1. Barry Ferguson did a... I don't think he did do an okay job last year, I'll be honest. People say he came in and he helped after Clement and he rode things out and he made Rangers stable and all this. I thought Barry Ferguson's results were poor. Now, they're 10 times better than Russell Martin's, but I still don't think Barry Ferguson last year did a good job at Rangers. But because he's a Rangers man, I think that kind of did blind a few people. Then you've got Steve Cooper, 10-1, Chris Wilder, 12-1, Nino Espirito Santo, who just got fired from Nottingham Forest. He is 12-1. Could be a possible option, maybe. Kevin Muscat, the guy was pretty much joint favourite with Clement before Clement got the job. Now Muscat is at 16-1. Maybe the whole Muscat thing has been done. Yeah, that's multiple times now where it looks like Muscat could have been the Rangers manager and they've decided not to go with him. Maybe we're getting to the point now where it's just not going to happen. Then you've got Marco Rose at 16-1, James Morrison 20-1, Stephen Davis 20-1, Derek McInnes, who right now is joint top of the table with Hearts, 20-1. A manager that has been linked with Rangers, a manager that turned down Rangers, believe it or not, and then obviously left Aberdeen, went to Kelly, now he's at Hearts. I think that McInnes certainly could go to Rangers. I just don't think it's going to happen now. It could have happened before they got Russell Martin. If they opted to get McInnes before he joined Hearts, it certainly could have happened. And who's to say it won't happen in the future? But right now, I just don't see a scenario. I do not see a way where Derek McInnes leaves Hearts at this moment in time right now to go to Rangers. I mean, he didn't do it with Aberdeen, so I don't think he's going to do it with Hearts and the Tony Bloom era that is beginning to kick in. But down the line, potentially, maybe he could be a Rangers manager. You got Kasper Hulmand at 20-1 as well. And then finally, Gareth Southgate is 20-1. Not only is Gareth Southgate unlikely to take the job, not only would Gareth Southgate, I think, be on a lot of money to get the Rangers job, I don't think he's any good. The guy was at England, he didn't really show me anything there. So I personally don't think Gareth Southgate would be the manager that Rangers would be looking for. Yeah, out of the list though, who do I think they should go for? I would say Steven Gerrard. He's been there, he's done it. You know what you're getting. He had success at the club. He had Rangers playing really well. Yeah, he kind of left to go to Aston Villa after the whole happy thing, smiling thing. But yeah, I think Steven Gerrard out of these options he's probably the best option. I would go with him, to be fair, but I don't think Rangers will. I think they'll stick with Russell Martin for now, at least for a few more weeks, maybe another month. But it could be one more bad result, and that could be the end of Russell Martin's career. So, do I think Russell Martin will last to the end of the season? Absolutely not. But do I think he'll last maybe another few weeks, another month? I think he will, to be fair. I think that the new board, they probably don't want to admit that they were wrong. They're reluctant to make the change, and that's probably the one thing that is saving Russell Martin at this moment in time right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Let me know, guys, down below, who do you think should get the Rangers manager job? And are you happy with Sean Dyche being the favourite at 3-1? Do you think Sean Dyche should be the guy to get it, or would you rather go with the tried and tested Steven Gerrard, or is there somebody further down the list that you think perhaps would do a better job? Someone down in the maybe 20-1 range or the 16-1 range? I mean, Kevin Muscat, been linked with Rangers multiple times. Maybe it's finally time to give him the job and to see what he can do. Anyway, we've seen what Russell Martin can do. It's not good. And I don't think that he is the man. I mean, I wonder what odds Russell Martin is to remain Rangers manager till the end of the season. I think those odds must be great because it just doesn't look like he's going to turn this around. So, yeah, Russell Martin. I actually seen that Rangers were 8-11 to win a trophy. I think that's horrible odds. And I get it. They're in 4 competitions, but let's just rule out Europe because realistically, they ain't going to win Europe. I think at this point, you can pretty much rule out the league as well because they ain't going to win the league. So, 8-11, that's less than even, so you need to bet £11 to win 8. So that narrows it down to essentially 2 trophies, the League Cup and the Scottish Cup, and The League Cup, I could see them going out this weekend, and they might not. They might beat Hibs, but let's say they do go out. Then you've got Rangers at 8-11 to win the Scot. It just doesn't seem like good odds to me. I'd personally want about 2-1, 3-1 at least, I think, for Rangers to win a trophy, but bookmakers giving you 8-11. Pretty shite if you ask me. Anyway, guys, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.